Hello everybody and welcome back to another weekly recap. In the weekly recap, I like to go over any news related to the old school RuneScape community this week. And this week we have a fairly large update that has been in the works for a while now, and that would be combat achievements. So as of today, you can log in and try to complete the hundreds of different combat for a few different rewards. As always, I'll be going over any other news related to the old school RuneScape community this week. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the weekly recap. If you do, always appreciate it if you leave a like on the video. It helps out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys, and let's get started. Alright, so combat achievements is finally here. It's been a long time in the making, mainly because it was delayed heavily due to the equipment rebalancing going through. So even though I think I've covered combat achievements in the past, I think it's probably a good idea to cover it again today, as it has been just so long in development. So what exactly is combat achievements? Well, it is kind of similar to a regular achievement diary, however mainly focused on PvM and bossing. The combat achievement diary is broken up into 6 different tiers: easy, medium, hard, elite, master, and grandmaster. Now I briefly looked through the task list for combat achievements and it is very hard. As all the tasks are now available to view in game, I want to cover a bit of that today. I'm going to look at a few of the tasks from all of the tiers just so you guys can get an example of what you're going to be going up against if you want to try to complete combat achievements. Now if you already have a higher level account and you've done quite a bit of bossing already, some of the tasks are going to be retroactive. It's really going to come down to which ones they had tracking for properly. For example, gauntlet speed tasks are going to be retroactive. Most bosses that require you to have a kill count somewhere, that will be retroactive, meaning that if you've already done it, it will auto-complete the task. For example, I've done a variety of different bosses, nothing too insane, and I had around 40 of the tasks already completed when I logged in. Now that said, Jagex has put forward a few recommendations and requirements. Now for the easy tier, there are going to be some of the lower level bosses in there. For example, the Giant Mole, Barrows, Sarachnis, the King Black Dragon apparently is easy tier. Some lower level Slayer monsters, Temporos, and a few other easier things like that. So to complete the easy tier, they recommend 60 combat, access to Mauritania, Wintertot, Temporos, as well as 62 Slayer. The medium tier is going to have stuff like Dagonoth Kings in it, Skatizo. It will include some of the wilderness bosses, and generally will require 70 combat, the ability to summon Thralls, and up to 77 Slayer. Now the hard tier, you're now going to move up to higher level Slayer bosses, is going to include most of the God Wars dungeon bosses, some of the harder wilderness bosses as well, and Jagex recommends 80 combat, up to 85 Slayer, access to Zulrah, and also a completion of a night at the theater. Okay, so the elite diary is going to cover most of the higher end bosses, and will require up to 95 Slayer for Hydra, completion of many high-level quests such as Song of the Elves, Dragon Slayer 2, Fremnik Exiles, and it will also involve completing the Chambers of Zarek and the Theater of Blood. Now once you get up to Master and Grandmaster, essentially that's just going to require max stats and really good understanding of PvM in general. I would say most players are probably not going to complete Master or Grandmaster as things become very difficult, but like I said, we'll have a look at some of the harder tasks in a minute. Now to get started with combat achievements, there's going to be an NPC in Burthorpe called Gomel. He will be the main guy for combat achievements, so whenever you want to claim a reward, you'll go talk to him. Now in addition to combat achievements, there's also been a new character summary panel added that will show you the total amount of experience you have, your combat level, your total level, how many of the achievement diaries you've completed, how many quests you've done, how much of the collection log you have filled in, as well as how many of the new combat achievement tasks you have completed. Now because of that, they have moved the minigames tab now to the chat panel where your clan chat and friends chat are located. So whenever you want to use a minigame teleport, you'll have to go there instead. Now there are a few ways to sort combat achievements. You can either sort via the task difficulty, or you can go ahead and sort it based on the type of bosses. So there are a few different ways to view the new combat achievements. So this might be a good time to cover the rewards. Now, the rewards are not super impactful. They're kind of similar to a regular achievement diary reward. They kind of range from cosmetics to nice quality of life changes and a few actual useful things, very similar to the regular achievement diaries. So I suppose the main item that you are going to get for completing the combat achievements is Gomel's Hilt. This is an equipable offhand item that will give you different teleports, both the Trollheim and Molule Wreck. Now similar to an achievement diary cape or a quest cape, if they do add in more combat achievements in the future, you will need to do those to be able to use the hilt Okay, so starting off here with the easy tier, if you complete all 33 tasks in the easy tier, you're going to get access to the Gommel's Hilt 1, which will provide you 3 daily teleports to Trollheim. In addition to that, you're going to get a 5k experience lamp. You're going to have the drop chance of easy clue scrolls increased by 5%, not including impling jars. And finally, you'll have the maximum quantity assigned by boss layer increased by 2. So for example, if you're doing a Zulrah boss task, previously you would have somewhere between 3 and 35. Now you could go somewhere between 3 and 37, I guess. So the medium tier is very similar, except you're going to get 5 daily teleports to Trollheim, 10,000 experience. You're going to get a 10,000 experience lamp to put in any skill. You're going to get a 5% increased chance of clue scrolls from mediums instead, and a boss task increase of 4. Now for the hard tier, there's going to be a few similar things as well. First up here, the kill count required to access a God Wars dungeon boss will now be reduced to 38, so reduced by 2. This will also give you access to a privately rented God Wars boss instance for a fee of 150,000 coins. That's very interesting and definitely one way to prevent bots from having access to it. And finally here, there's going to be a Dragon Hunter crossbow recolor, and you get this by combining a King Black Dragon head with a regular Dragon Hunter crossbow. So the elite tier is going to have a lot of the same things again, except marginally improved. The unique things you're going to get at the elite tier is going to be a different Dragon Hunter crossbow recolor. This time you recolor it with a Vorkath head, and you're also going to get access to a new Slayer helm recolor as well, which is called the Tiz Talk Slayer helmet. Now for the master tier, once again, you're going to get similar but improved rewards. The only completely unique thing here is going to be you're going to get access to a vampiric Slayer helm recolor, only available at the master tier. And finally here, for the grandmaster tier, you're going to get unlimited teleports to both Trollheim and Molyul Rec, a 50,000 experience lamp. You'll be able to add on an additional 15 quantity to a boss slayer task. Now the drop rate for an ecumenical key is going to be increased by 33%, so a notable increase. The kill count required for God Wars Dungeon will be reduced to 30, so a 25% decrease. And finally here, you will have the most unique and prestigious of the cosmetic rewards, that being a Tizcal Slayer helmet recolor. So that is it for all of the rewards. There are quite a few different components to it, however most of them are pretty minor changes. Considering how hard the diary is actually going to be to complete, these rewards I think are fairly moderate. That said though, the regular achievement diary doesn't provide you with very good rewards either, but you'll see here in a minute that are probably going to be an order of magnitude easier to complete. So I thought it'd be interesting and maybe helpful to have a quick look at what some of the tasks look like for each tier. Now, easy tier, definitely by far the easiest of the combat achievements, but still not dead easy compared to, for example, the easy achievement diary. The easy tier does still count the King Black Dragon. It counts Briafida, which involves killing Briafida in a certain way, which means you may have to kill Briafida multiple different times to be able to complete all of the Briafida tasks, and it even involves some of the lower level bosses as well. Now the medium tier will include some of the same bosses as before, but we'll start upping the kill count requirement for some of them. For example, there's going to be a 50 barrows chest completion, killing a brutal black dragon already, which is I think 77 Slayer just for that, killing all of the Dagonoth bosses 50 times or more, and there are skeletal wyverns. Now the hard tier is already going to include things such as getting a nightmare kill count. There are going to be challenging kills for the Abyssal Sire, killing different God Wars dungeon bosses while all of the bodyguards are dead. They've also included most of the wilderness bosses at this tier, for example killing the Chaos Fanatic 10 times without drinking any prayer potions or leaving the wilderness. And there's also a Kraken task here as well. Now Elite, like I was mentioning earlier, you pretty much need to have a maxed combat account, because at this tier you need to complete the Gauntlet, Corporal Beast. There's going to be challenging tasks now for God Wars dungeons, such as killing General Gridor without him attacking any players. You'll need to complete 75 Theater Blood completions just for one task at this tier. Now Grandmaster and Master are going to be out of reach for I think the majority of players. There's going to be speed runs for the Chambers of Xeric and Theater of Blood, which is going to be challenging. There are going to be very high kill count requirements for some bosses. For example, the Alchemical Hydra, you have to kill 500 times. And just very difficult challenges within the Theater of Blood and the Chambers of Xeric. Grandmaster are kind of just comical things such as killing Kriara with only a salamander, killing Bandos 15 times in a privately rented instance without ever leaving. There's a task where you have to kill the Alchemical Hydra with just Durox and 10 hit points. I mean, they're just really difficult stuff. So that's kind of what you're going up against. Now that's pretty much it for the content update from Jagex. However, one other thing I want to cover here is another banger of an update from runelite. As of today, they've added in loot beams. So they're kind of similar to the loot beam that comes down on a Chambers of Xeric chest. There are different colors based on how valuable the loot is, and it gives a more obvious visual indicator to when you actually got a rare drop. A really cool update. I'm so stoked to have these on. I'm hyped to get a rare drop now, and I think this is just an awesome update as well. So thanks once again to runelite. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for today's weekly recap. There was a lot to cover, and I am excited to start doing some of the combat achievements. As always, let me know what you guys think of the update down below. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next week. Now before I go here, as always, I'd love to thank all of my members over on YouTube. A giant thank you to Guy Fox, Ocelot, Timothy Chen, Wolf of the Hunt, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier membership. You guys are awesome as always, really appreciate it. Also a giant thank you to Mexos, Branton Graffin, Hunter Durant, Yo-Yo Sub 89, Lord Dojin, Connor B, Birdbot, and Base Titch. And of course, thank you to all of my other YouTube members as well. If you guys are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. Get immortalized in all of my future videos, get access to my video release schedule, and of course, get a custom role in my Discord server. Thanks again guys as always, and I'll see you next time.